I have three stories here today to highlight the importance of being prepared, especially in your home when you are usually at your lowest level of threat awareness. I have here in Colorado a suspect accused of multiple burglaries in Colorado neighborhood arrested. Good news there. Before we dive into these stories, my name's Stephen with Armed Culture, bringing you news related to the Second Amendment from the self-defense perspective. Let's get into the story. We have Mesa County deputies arrested a suspect Sunday who reportedly broke into a church and a home in Grand Junction, firing at residents. Not a good start here. So the sheriff officer said they received a report of a burglary and shots fired at a church in the 400 blocks of the 23rd Road around 1:20 a.m. Again, those wee hours of the morning always seem to be a good time for people to do nefarious tasks. A person living in the church told deputies the man broke into the building and fired multiple rounds at him. Authorities said the front door of the church and the window were shattered. Deputies and Grand Junction police officers surrounded the building and issued a shelter in place to the residents within 1 block of the church while they searched the area. During the search, they heard multiple gunshots fired from the 500 block of the 23rd Road around 2 a.m. So just a little while later, he is on the move. Homeowners in the area called to report a man broke into their home and fired multiple shots, fired at them multiple times. When the homeowner fired back, the suspect fled, and that's where the difference is. When you fight back, generally those who are attacking you don't want any of that. They don't want to find out the consequences to their actions. And of course, once they do, they're definitely sorry. SWAT was deployed to the home and temporarily removed the homeowner from the residence as a protection. Meanwhile, another shelter in place was issued for the residents within 1 mile of the home. A nearby homeowner, awoken by the shelter-in-place notification, spotted the suspect, called dispatch. They told the authorities the man, matching the description, was checking car door handles on the 2300 block of South Rim Drive. Here we go. Law enforcement surrounded the suspect, later identified as 22-year-old Dakota Mortensen of Grand Junction, and placed him under arrest. Mortensen was booked into the Mesa County Detention Facility. He is facing numerous charges, including 3 counts of menacing with a real or simulated weapon, 3 counts of assault to the second degree, reckless with a serious serious bodily injury with a deadly weapon, 3 counts of criminal attempt, 3 counts of reckless endangerment, 2 counts of first-degree burglary, assault with assault or menaces or is armed, 2 counts of criminal mischief to 20,000 to 5,000, 2 counts of prohibited use of weapon, and 1 count of impersonating a police officer. So this guy did quite a bit in one night, around 30 minutes to an hour's worth of time. And he got a bit of a rap sheet here, so we'll see how these charges actually land with him. But it goes to show how just firing a weapon was enough to make this person's house a lot safer than it was originally when this 22-year-old came in. He was breaking into places and then firing at what seems to be the slightest sound of life. And that just, that doesn't work. You know, you're not allowed to just go into people's house and start firing at them. You can expect that those people will take action back. But we have more than just that. This one here, we have a man shot while allegedly breaking into a Goldsboro home. This didn't happen back at the beginning of February. Goldsboro, North Carolina, a man was seriously injured after getting shot while allegedly breaking into a house on Sunday night. A little before 6 p.m., Goldsboro Police Department responded to a shot spotter alert in the 600 block of West Oaks Street. While they were investigating, a man arrived at the UNC Health Wayne with gunshot wounds. He was later identified as 30-year-old Deshaun Jamoran James. It was determined the shooting happened at West Oak Street, GDP said. The investigation said that James was suspected of breaking and entering to terrorize the residents when he was shot. The shooting was indeed self-defense. Kateri Toomer, 26, and Tanisha Young, 26 as well, were inside the residence. At least one of them knew James, and neither of them was injured. That's good to hear. James was taken to ECU Medical Center for treatment and is in critical condition. This is an ongoing investigation. And this is all that I could find on this case, and this is often why I like to report these cases that are possible self-defenses situations, because oftentimes you hear one, maybe two stories of shots fired, and then the next story is possible self-defense, and then you don't hear about it for either sometimes a while, like a couple of years, or sometimes ever. Now, to carry on to the theme of intruders breaking and entering, we have an intruder facing charges after being shot at a Arcola home invasion, state attorney says. In Tuscola, Illinois, ooh, a nice gun-friendly state here, a man is facing burglary and home invasion charges after a Douglas County state attorney said he was shot while trying to break into an Arcola home earlier this year. So this one happened back in January. State Attorney Rob Kosick told WCIA that he was charging Dalton Carcine with 3 counts of attempted home invasion, residential burglary, and criminal trespassing. The first 2 charges are Class 1 felonies, the later being a Class 4 felony. The charges allege that on January 14th, Kristen tried to break into the home at Pine and Washington Street in Arcola. Kosick said the person living in the house was present and armed with a gun. They shot Kosick as he tried to break in. Quick action on the homeowner here. As an Illinois State Police took over the investigation from the Arcola Police Department, the community is unaware the shooting was in defense of property. People were shocked at the violent act and rarity in the town of 3,000. Court records show that Kaysen was charged with residential burglary and criminal trespassing. The day the shooting occurred, he was charged with attempted home invasion on January 28th. The following day, he made his first court appearance. Kaysen was released from custody with conditions that he is due back in court on February 28th. The attempted home invasion in Arcola is one of several throughout central Illinois over the last 4 months that ended with the would-be intruder being shot, as you would expect in a more rural area. In November, the 2 men were shot and killed within 10 days as they tried to break into home in Champaign and Decatur. Both shootings were found to be lawful by the Champaign and Mason County state attorneys. Earlier this month, Alexa Templar of Decatur was successfully defended her home and her young children against 3 armed intruders. She shot one, and all 3 suspects are facing charges. So just in this one story, we had 3 other stories of break-ins that happened where people were able to defend their lives and their rightfully owned property of their home that they're living in. Nobody should ever have to feel unsafe or that their home can just be taken over by others at any given moment with firearms. So just within the grand scheme of about 2 months, you had 6 reported stories of people who broke into their house and broke into somebody's house and then quickly found out the hard way that that wasn't a great idea. Let me know what you think about these stories. Do you think that there's more and more stories like this that just aren't talked about? Do you think that the news doesn't necessarily highlight these well? Let me know what your thoughts are about these burglary stories. If you found value with this video, hit that like button. It highly helps me out. And if you want to hear more news related to the Second Amendment from a self-defense perspective, hit subscribe to Armed Culture. My name's Steven, bringing you said news, and I'll see you in the next video.